let's jump into the AFC South, right? We got 4 teams there. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Duval. You got the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, and the Houston Texans, right? So this division is going to be interesting, right? Because Houston came out of nowhere. No one put any expectations on Houston, and now they seem to have all the expectations in the world. You have CJ Stroud, who was in the early running for MVP, went to the Pro Bowl. We know about the slow interceptions and high TDs and smarts and all that stuff. But then we also know D'Amico Ryan's taking over this team, which I originally was just like, maybe D'Amico shouldn't have took this. But I was saying, if anybody was going to take it, because he's going to change the culture. He absolutely, absolutely did. They get guys like Will Anderson and so forth. And now they've made these moves, even adding more depth and getting Daniil Hunter and getting Stephon Diggs, trading for him, and getting Joe Mixon. So the Houston Texans did not just sit there and say, you know what, we're good at where we're at. They still added some more pieces, so that's even scarier. You got a guy, Nico Collins. He got his deal. He got his money. You got Tank Dell off of his rookie season. That's going to be scary. So on both sides of the ball, Houston is looking, pretty dangerous. So it's just more for me is that living up to the expectations and also the pressures that will be, because I talked about my Detroit Lions before, is that, hey, you know what, when you're just a team that someone plays, but then after you win some games and everybody started talking about you, then you have to learn how to be the hunted versus hunting other people, and they're hunting for you. And I think that's what Houston has to deal with this year, is that everybody's going to be gunning for them. Everybody's going to be trying to, prove last year was a fluke. So dealing with that, week in and week out, because all the cameras is going to be on Houston. You got Indianapolis, right? They're getting Anthony Richardson back. He started out, pretty okay last year before a shoulder injury ended his season. You got Jonathan Taylor back. They've added some other pieces, through the draft. I think this is more for this team, is that can they all click, right? They brought back guys like Kenny Moore. I think Kenny Moore got a 1-year deal, and Justin Blackman, if I remember correctly. So on the defensive side, they got some familiar faces back on here. So can these guys click? I do believe, Indianapolis could be that team that messes up the entire division. Just starting with Anthony Richardson and the raw talent that he has in running, passing, being agility, being able to elude, and that itself is frustrating for defenders. So how will he progress, though? Did he learn anything from his first year going into his second year, watching it on the sideline, which I think he did, but also, is he going to protect himself as well? Because that was the thing. They were talking about Anthony need to protect himself. You can't take the hits that you took in college. It's just not. It doesn't help you at all. But they got a nice squad. They're an interesting team. I do believe, again, I said it, but I'll say it again. I do believe Indianapolis is that team that probably could mess up the division for a lot of folks. I'd say we talked about 2. Talk about the third one. Tennessee Titans, right? So they have fully switched over. They got a new coach, and Brian Callahan. Will Levy is going to be the guy from day one, or he has been the guy for day one. And then they added some pieces. They got Tony Pollard. They got Calvin Ridley as well. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is a little injured right now, so it's going to take some time to get him back. Tennessee. Yeah, if you remember that song. I don't know where to really put them. Because when you look at it's like they got the kid from Kansas City. What was that? Ladarius Sneed, if I'm saying his name right. One of the top corners, if not the top corner. So these are some great pieces that they added. I just don't know if it all comes together this season for them. And last but definitely not least, who we thought was going to take over this division and run away with it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they have not, as you saw, Houston won that division last year, and they got something to prove, right? You're looking at 2 years ago, we were like they're going to be rivaling Kansas City with Trevor Lawrence. It's amazing what a year does. Now we're talking about, will they even win the division? Can they win the division? Where do they fit into this whole AFC mix in general? But where do they fit in the AFC South? Because all these teams are going to give each other problems. But Jacksonville, you got Trevor Lawrence. They drafted this kid. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Brian. Well, I want to call him Brian Burns. I may be saying that wrong. Out of LSU. So theoretically, it seems like they got their replacement. For Calvin Ridley. I just with Jacksonville, it's more of build off of 2 years ago, right? There were some things, with this team that they struggled. So bouncing back. Now, Doug Peterson, you got him there. He's an excellent coach. I think everybody believes in Doug Peterson. There's not anything with chemistry problems that's going on. So I think they're good there. But I still think it's something. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just something that it seems like I just don't know. I just don't know just yet. So I have to pick who I think in this division. So number four, uh, again, this kid is getting the reins, second year quarterback. I think Tennessee is going to finish number 4. I think they'll play good football. Again, I think they'll be, a team that's a tough out. Let me just say that. Number 3, I'm going to go Indianapolis, right? Anthony Richardson, along with the others that he has in company. That and I would say Indianapolis could move up even higher. I forgot what division I was talking about. Oh, AFC East. I was talking about the AFC East. With those teams, they could kind of just flip flop. I do believe Indianapolis could be even higher, but I got to put them right there for right now. And then that leaves the 2, Houston or Jacksonville, right? So I'm going to go with Jacksonville at 2. I just think with the pieces that Houston added, with D'Amico Ryans, with CJ Stroud, this team is definitely still going to be able to handle the pressures that come with it. And I keep telling you, there's something to be said about creating a culture. A winning culture is one thing, but just a positive culture is something totally different. So Houston upgraded what they already had. So I got Houston 1, Jacksonville 2, Indianapolis 3, and Tennessee finishing at the number 4 spot. Mo, I'll let you boy.
Man, I had Jacksonville last year. I picked them last year to make some noise, but I don't know. They let me down, man. But I think they got a chance. So I got Jacksonville taking that division this year because Houston's schedule down the stretch is kind of rough. I don't know if you saw it yet, but I mean, you got the Cowboys, you got Baltimore, you got Kansas City, you got Jacksonville twice, second half of the season. So it could get ugly.
Yeah.
They can get ugly, man. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville.